right, Ron Nelson with us this morning. Ron, the chickens miss you out here.
And I miss the chickens, Bill, but hopefully I can get out there later and check out all that's going on out there. Sounds like a amazingly intriguing time, and I think just kind of is a fantasy to think that we're going to have some warm weather eventually. It's starting to feel that way because it doesn't feel very real right now, does it?
No, it doesn't. I see on your notes you want to talk bankruptcies that might even affect the Dakotas. We got some more store closings and maybe update some properties this morning. Where you want to go first?
Well, it's popular for the media, I think, to talk about the negatives. And so, I'm on the most popular radio show in the certainly city, if not state, and possibly, upwards of the country. But I'm going to switch the tables a little bit for the media and, talk about some positive things before we talk about some of the closings and things like that, because you don't hear that covered as much by the media. So I try to talk about national trends that have a local connection, just so I try to drill it down to how that might influence or benefit or at least impact us locally. So just a couple things happening nationally, even internationally. Domino's Pizza. They're celebrating their 16,000th store. And this is worldwide, but this is happening in New York City where they're opening their 16,000th store. So, that's certainly a positive. Gordman's, they were looking like they were going down for a while, a couple of years ago, got acquired by Stage Stores. And so now they're opening 38 stores this year, most of them in the South. But, we escaped that one. A lot of Gordman stores did close, and we missed out on that one. So, they're kind of bouncing back strongly. We continue. Everybody talks to me and asks about Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. Whole Foods is opening their 500th store in Atlanta. We're still working with them as we are with Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is opening in 3 corners of the country: California, Arizona, Washington, and New Hampshire right now, at a smaller level than Whole Foods. But they're in 41 states now, so, we're hoping that as they close in on wanting to be in every state, that South Dakota won't be too far off. And we always got to talk about Amazon, right? So here's a little, and the message with a lot of these stores, Bill, is going to be we are in a tweaking mode as much as anything. So let's talk about Amazon's tweaks. We talk about acquiring Whole Foods and all that and what that all means, but the whole Amazon effect is talking about, online versus bricks and mortar. And so a while back, Amazon made quite a bit of news with they're opening bricks and mortar. They're opening these pop-up stores, just as a way to kind of build the brand, opening up opportunities for people to actually expose them to Amazon's product and services in these pop-up stores. They're kind of in mall kiosks. You'd see some in Kohl's stores and certainly in Whole Foods. Well, they decided that's not what direction we want to go anymore. They're closing the pop-up stores, just 87 of them. But now their new thing is they're opening new stores. And the new stores are called 4-star stores. And that stands for items rated 4 stars or higher. And they're also opening bookstores, which is kind of where we think of Amazon and getting their start. They're opening this week their 19th bookstore. Not far from us, Cherry Creek Mall in Denver. We just stayed there about a year ago for a seminar, and so and then I heard Jesse talking about their headquarters in New York, which is still, I don't want to say comical, but I don't know what to make of that. As all cities are in an economic development mode, Amazon announces they're going to open a new headquarters in New York City area, and New York City decided they didn't want them, which is kind of counterintuitive to most of the economic development things. They're saying, by bringing all these jobs, it's also going to increase prices, on housing and things like that. So I don't know. Evidently in New York, their thought is it's better to wallow in mediocrity so prices stay lower, I guess. I don't know. I don't think we could accommodate them, but I guarantee there's a lot of people competing for that Amazon move. Abercrombie, across the country, closing 40 stores, but they're tweaking and opening 85 stores in 19, and Wall Street was impressed, and their stock has jumped 21% as a result. And then just this week, we've heard about Dollar Tree. And the dollar category has been kind of one of the bright spots in retail, just opening stores while lots of folks are closing. They did well during the recession of 08, 09. And so now, the media is saying, oh, my gosh, they're closing stores. The apocalypse has now hit the dollar category. Well, not so much. They're tweaking. Dollar Tree acquired Family Dollar in 2015. And, they're finding the differences. Dollar Tree's objective is most everything under $1, where Family Dollar's objective is most things under $10. Seems like the Dollar Tree model is working a little better, so they're converting like 200 of the Family Dollar stores to Dollar Tree stores. When you have an acquisition like this, you obviously get some crossover, and some duplication. So that's what they're closing 390 Family Dollar stores, but there's like 8,000 open. So, in terms of percentages, that's like 4% or something like that. So, again, not a gigantic deal. They're also, they did close 120 stores last year, too. In Sioux Falls, we have 3 Family Dollar stores, one right next to Osted's, actually, on East 10th. I actually did that deal about 15 years ago. We got one in the center part of town on 8th Street, and then on North Kiwanis, kind of by the Dairy Queen and the Point Church down there. So we don't know yet in terms of what they're doing in Sioux Falls, so we'll be watching that. Another one that did announce this week that they're going to potentially be shutting her down for good, Charlotte Russe, which is kind of a young women's apparel store, which, my gosh, what a tough category. Could you imagine trying to appeal to middle school and teenage girls, Bill, as a father of 2 of them? Formerly, they're older now, but my goodness. So there is like 500 plus Charlotte Russe stores, including in our Empire Mall, right in the center court, kind of heading down toward the Macy's wing. Don't have information on if we are going to be one of the 95 stores closing. There's 500 plus total Charlotte Russe stores. They're actually going to look for a buyer to see if possibly somebody might want to keep that open. But, we've seen that kind of with Yonkers, with Shopko, they're going to close. Oh, maybe we're not going to close. Maybe we'll stay open. Maybe there's a buyer, or maybe not, So you just don't put a lot of credence into news like that. So, we'll just watch and see what happens. Payless closing, that will impact Sioux Falls. No real surprise there. I mean, it felt like you're, in the 80s whenever you walked into a Payless store. They were tired, not relevant. Just, example of another retailer falling asleep at the switch, and competition kind of ate them up. So, in Sioux Falls.
Let me turn the page on you. We got about 2 minutes left, and I wanted to get in because we got all these people in town for the 2 sports shows that are going on, NAIA in town, we've got the Summit in town. But when people come to town, they always have a chance to look around Sioux Falls. And if we have some of those people that are in town this weekend and are saying, I wonder what I might be able to do with this property. Are you available? Are commercial real estate people available to talk to them?
I'll give you my personal cell number, and over the weekend,
you're available.
How's that for answering your question? So the answer is yes. We are anxious to talk to folks, and it's amazing. We do get a lot of calls like that, just historically over the years, whether it's for hunting season, people in town, and sometimes it's after the fact. They're in town for games or hunting or whatever. They don't want to talk business. They'll take down our number, write down some property addresses they might want information on. But my phone number, my cell number, 605-728-7600. And that's, to me, my personal cell number, Ron Nelson, Nelson Commercial Real Estate. There's a couple of restaurant opportunities. Restaurant is always a category on the move, and we've got one right on Phillips Avenue. We're not going to talk about names because you try to avoid that while places are not quite closed down yet, but we've also got one on Marion Road near the Lake Lorraine area. A couple of smaller restaurants under 2,500 feet. As the fact that they're existing restaurants means you got a lot of your infrastructure there, kind of your beefed up power, your beefed up HVAC, some of your venting, your hoods, things like that. So love to talk to folks about that. If you drive down Interstate 229, you'll see the J.H. Larson Electrical Building right before you get to Minnesota Avenue. It's a little east of Minnesota. That is just coming on the market because J.H. is moving. They just jumped Minnesota and moved west. We've talked about a little bit. They're moving to a larger facility, the former United Rentals. So that property is going to be coming up, and it's kind of at that interesting intersection at 229 and Minnesota Avenue, which kind of ties into 49th Street. Kind of a mess, kind of a cluster there. The city's really looking to modify that intersection at some point to tie in an interchange on-ramp access to 229 and 49th all together, and kind of a little bit of an engineering challenge to pull that off, but they need to do that. And so the J.H. Larson property is right in the midst of, kind of that future exciting, hopefully soon, activity that's going to be taking place at that intersection.
Ron Nelson, appreciate the commercial real estate info this morning. Again, how they reach you?
Well, I gave you my cell phone number, 605-728-7600. And on the web, you can just find us. Company's name is Nelson Commercial Real Estate. On the web, for short, it's just ncommercial.com.
All right, we appreciate you. More from the Outdoor Show and a show coming up in 2 weeks in Sioux Falls. Stay with us.